You guys just ever watched a movie that you were like, "Wow, this is pretty bad," but you kind of liked it though. That's how I felt watching The Killer's Game, starring Dave Bautista. Let's go and get right into it. So, The Killer's Game, starring Dave Bautista, is about a man named Joe Flood, who is like a hitman for hire, contract killer type of deal. But they make sure they tell you specifically multiple times in the story that he only goes after bad people, so like terrorists, human traffickers, sex offenders, stuff like that. And he goes after these people, and he's like pretty much like the best of the best, almost like a John Wick level, like in this world. And one night after an event, he saves this girl, and this ballerina and him kind of fall in love with each other. And around the same time, he's thinking about retiring. Well, also, he's getting these crazy headaches. So while he's falling in love with her, he gets his test results back, and turns out he's about to fucking die. So in the midst of all this, he decides, hey, I'm going to put a contract out on myself to die this way so she can get the insurance policy and this and that, because they're not going to give it if I kill myself. And this is the plot that we have with The Killer's Game. Nice little plot. I was liking the trailers. I was really excited going into this movie because this is that type of movie that you can sit here and go, okay, I know it's not going to be no, Shakespeare. It ain't going to be sitting out here being a Martin Scorsese pick. But coming from Lionsgate, and I was like, sometimes they hit or miss, but they also start the John Wick franchise. So I was out here with high hopes, very excited, thinking to myself, hey, what if we get another one of these? And we got nowhere close. This movie, does weird things, with the camera angles, and, I'm telling you, the first, 25 minutes of this movie, I was really, about to tap out. I was hit the play clock, timeout, we stopping, because they do some weird comic book angles, where they'll have a shot of somebody's eyes looking like this, and like down here in the corner it's a shot of somebody being like, yeah, I got my gun, a shot of somebody down over here in the corner of them taking a piss or something like that. That actually doesn't happen, but that's just an example. It's just weird. It's this movie feels like it was made in 2005 or 6, and they were let's just hold off and let's not put this out to 2024. The action scenes, for example, they're actually really good, choreographed, shot, whatever. But the blood looks so fake, it looks like something out of a comic book. And at one point, I thought this was unintentional. And then one of the characters at the end, thank God he did this, because it gave the movie a couple points. I said, oh, they did this shit on purpose. He was like, oh, you guys are some out of a comic book. So now I'm curious. I didn't look it up before I did this. Is this shit based on a comic book or something like that? Or did he just say this? Okay, now I'm confused. Because if it's not based on a comic book, he said this shit, I'm really confused what the vibe of this movie was. But overall, outside of these, complaints and stuff like that, I think this is a fun time. I don't think it's worth your time to go immediately to the theater. I don't think you should spend fucking gas, spend your hard-earned paycheck working at 9 to 5, while your boss sat on their ass. I don't think you should do that at all. Go watch Beetlejuice, go watch something else. I don't think you should rush out for this movie. But let's say you're in the area and you're like, hey, I want something to watch, and you've seen everything else that I've reviewed on this channel. I'm not going to say not check it out. It's decent. It's very cheesy. Some of the lines, the dialogue's kind of goofy, but you're not there for that. You're there for Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista's showing his ass out. The comedy's there. He lands all that shit. There are so many scenes with him and I'm blanking on his name. It's the guy from Terry Crews. God, there we go. I got his name. Him and Terry Crews still a show for me. Terry Crews plays a character named Love Doll. And Love Doll's scenes are just so funny. At one point, he has to mentor this new guy that wants to try to get into the game, that's what they call it, the killing game, whatever it's that. And that had me crying. That shit was funny. And so I will say that the movie, at least for me, the jokes were landing, which is why I was immediately okay, I'm giving it some points right there. I was like, because it works as a comedy. And that was intentional. It's not unintentional. Like they were trying to be funny and it worked. Okay. But I think where the problem with me lies is some of the action scenes, because while some of them are really good, like especially towards the end on the third act, some of the fights are like, and I want to say it's because of the fake blood, like the CGI was like really shitty. Why they don't look good? Like they're choreographed beautifully, like they look awesome. It's just that like you'll have a person like literally move a sword like this on somebody's neck, and like blood splatter will fly that way, but then in the next shot there's no blood over there on the wall. Like it was like that, and that shit was like taking me out because I'm like, there's no blood on his weapon, or like it was weird. And then if there was, it was like that fake like fucking like 3D drip like you got from like an iPhone app. It looked like, what is it, Mortal Kombat 11, I think. Their blood was like really like, people kept being like, it's like really, it's like that. It looks like that blood. Like it's like really red, but like it's not real blood. It was weird. And I feel like at that point, they should just bought like fake blood and just use that, and it looked a lot better than the CGI shit they were doing. But I really think that, and I always blank on her name. You know, she played in Rebel Moon. You know, those are awful movies. Still haven't watched part 2. But homegirl that's in that, and she plays in, first thing I ever saw her in was Kingsman. She played Gazelle. Sophia something, I'm blanking on her last name. She does an amazing job. I actually believed in their relationship. And so this is exactly what I was talking about with some of the other films, like kind of The Crow I watched. This movie sets up a relationship in like 20 minutes, but it worked because, you know, yeah, they're in love with each other, falling in love, but like they speed up some of the relationship. They show them going on dates. They show them do this and that. And like, yeah, it's sped up, but it just kind of worked because it's okay. Yeah, they're newly together, but they're not so newly together. Like it's been a couple months, right? And like in The Crow, it was like, we don't know how long it's been. I think it's like a week, and they're like about to die for each other. It was like, that didn't work. This kind of works, for me at least. And overall, if I'm just going to end it there, I think this is a good movie. It's very cheesy. It's got its shitty moments, but I think Dave Bautista steals the show. I think that some of the villains steal the show. Pretty much all the hitmen do a really good job. I do think it's a little goofy. I got one last complaint before I end the video. I don't know whose the idea it was to be like, man, let's give every single villain their own title card intro. Every single hitman that fights Dave Bautista, I think they do them in order, like dead ass, and they just keep going. Like I promise you, 20 minutes of the movie is just like it's like you have the plot, and then the middle part of the movie is just their fucking sequences. Like they'll be like, here's the one that dances, and you show like him fighting some dudes and killing some dudes. Like that's what he could do. And then it's like, here's these two brothers, this is what they could do. Blah blah. Here's these two stripper women, this is what they could do. And like it just like went through all those, and like about like I think I checked my watch. I said, God damn, they gonna do one for every part. They did one for every person. Even people that he fought for 5 seconds. I was like, they got a fucking title card intro longer than their actual fight. That's crazy. But outside of, that's what I mean. Like, that's goofy, cheesy, but like, I didn't hate it. I just thought, I was like, it's kind of weird. It's like out of place. But it's not bad. I think The Killer's Game is a 7 out of 10 easy. I think it's really good. It's worth your time. It doesn't boost through those, you know, like Channing Tatum said in Jump Street. It doesn't burst through those ceilings like I wanted it to. You know, I wanted this film to be that next John Wick, maybe start a franchise, something like that. And if they ever make the sequel, hey. But this does feel like something that you would buy like in the Walmart bin. Like a straight to DVD movie, and then you go, damn, Dave Bautista's in this. You buy it, and like you go home and watch it. You're like, huh. Not bad. It's one of those, you know, it's not shitty, it's not a Steven Seagal movie, but it's also not the best of the best, like I was hoping. It's definitely got that budget issue, definitely got that cheesiness issue, but if you can get around that stuff, it's got some decent choreography and some great laughs. And with that, please like, subscribe for more, and I will catch you guys on the next one.
You're not gonna die, but you might want to get your eyes checked.
I'm gonna live. I love my popcorn. Movies, popcorn.